Thank you. The Secretary will call the roll.
The motion is due pass to appropriations.
Correct.
O'Donnell?
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Chavez?
Aye.
Chavez, aye. Kim?
Aye.
Kim, aye. McCarty? Santiago? Thurman? Thurman, aye. Weber? Weber, aye. 5-0.
5-0. The bill is out.
Thank you very much.
We'll now move on to Ms. Lopez, which is AB 1112. It's file item number 18.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, and good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members. I'm pleased to present to you AB 1112, which look to add parenting education to the courses to offer through the Regional Consortium Plan. I also plan to parenting education to include family literacy education with a special focus and support adults with children in school age, with limited English abilities. My reason for acting this bill is with the passage AB 86/2013 for the programs were authorized to be offered, adults were cut. One of those categories was the parent education. I'm modeling this bill after the program that was offered in my local school district, the community-based English tutoring, or CVET. By getting rid of the parent education in CVET, we're getting rid of the provide English instruction as well as coursework to give parents the tools to help the children to do better in school. For example, CVET taught parents effectively to parenting techniques and how to help children with reading, listening, speaking, and study skills. One of the schools found that children in CVET parent averaged 19% gain to California English Language Development Test. Families no longer have access to family literacy education in the CVET program through adult education. This bill is looking to retain parent education as the eligible funding category programs and starting to show that children who parents participate in those programs provide academic benefit. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and ask you for your aye vote.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. Are there witnesses in support? Seeing no witnesses in support, any witnesses in opposition? Seeing no opposition, any comment from members of the committee? Move the bill. Been moved and seconded. The Secretary will call the roll. Oh, go ahead and close. I apologize. Go ahead and close. I'm getting ahead of myself and you.
I just wanted thank you for that consideration and your aye vote.
Thank you.
The motion is due pass to higher education. O'Donnell?
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Chavez? Kim? Kim, no. McCarty? Santiago? Thurman? Thurman, aye. Weber? Weber, aye. It's got 3-1, so it's on call.
It's 3-1 with the bill on call. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Mr. Ashashian, Mr. Dodd. Yeah. We got Dodd. This is Garcia. That's Garcia. Okay. Renan, Baker, Hernandez. Go. What do you mean? Oh, okay. Ms. Weber, would you like to present? Thank you, Ms. Weber. So Ms. Weber will present on file item 8, AB 713.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members. I thank you for the opportunity to present on AB 713, which deals with kindergarten. Kindergarten, as many are shocked to find out, is truly not mandatory in the state of California, which sometimes produces a number of issues. We have made early education a priority, and this includes kindergarten, where children become better prepared academically and socially for the first grade. Benefits of kindergarten are amplified when looking at kids who are economically disadvantaged. Attending kindergarten means that they have less likely to be below grade level, and also on average they earn wages 5% higher as adults. Many states, including Connecticut, Nevada, Tennessee, Wisconsin, and Oklahoma, make kindergarten mandatory because of these widely recognized benefits. Currently, the California Department of Education estimates that approximately 90% of eligible children attend public and private kindergarten, meaning that this bill is affecting a very focused population. AB 713 maintains parental choice by allowing parents to choose to enroll their children at age 5 or 6, allowing them to accommodate for the needs of their children. To support this bill today, we have with us the California Teachers Association. CTA is here. They're representing the teachers of California in terms of support for this bill, and they will testify today. Tony Takira is from the California Teachers Association.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Welcome you to this conversation. It's long going. We want to thank the committee consultant for an excellent analysis. I just want to say briefly, because I know time is short, that we feel deeply this is an extraordinarily important step for the California to take, and we will continue to fight this battle until we have convinced the governor that this is the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further witnesses?
I'll Guy for Compton Unified School District. We want to commend the Assembly member for her leadership and urge your aye vote.
Kathy Hall, representing the California State PTA. We're in support of this bill and encourage kindergarten for all children. Thank you.
Ron Rapp, CFT. We haven't taken a formal position, but we expect to support this bill. Thank you.
Ray Burnell with the California Catholic Conference. We have not taken a formal position, but we expect to support the bill as we work with the author on some considerations. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further witnesses in support? Seeing none. Any witnesses in opposition?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members. Nathan Pierce on behalf of Independent Private Schools of California. We oppose this bill both for the private schools that we represent as well as for the parents of the children enrolled. We acknowledge that many parents, in fact, nearly 95% of parents in California of young children decide to enroll their children in kindergarten. However, the 5% that remains, the parents have decided that is not in the best interest of their children to enroll them. And so we ask that you not pass this bill because we respect the rights of those parents to choose to keep their children at home for an additional year. This bill forces parents to choose between enrolling their children either a year late or enrolling their kids a year earlier in order to mandate that they enroll in kindergarten. So for some children, as we've stated in our letter, this requires families that will be sending their children to private schools would require them to pay for an additional year. We acknowledge that if there is a need for continuity of children to be enrolled in the classrooms of kindergarten classes, in the past we have seen that there has been concern about continuity of attendance in schools, so we have suggested that there could be a bill that would allow for required continuity if a child is enrolled and attending for 30 days or more, that in order to continue on that child and not to disrupt the rest of the class, that school could require those children, if they've attended for 30 days or more, to continue on. That's one other option here, but we respectfully ask that parents who choose to not enroll their children in an effort to protect those parents' rights, just not to force square pegs into round holes, but to allow those parents to make that decision on behalf of their children. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any further witnesses in opposition? Seeing none, any members of the committee wish to comment? I'll comment just quickly if I could, Ms. Weber. Thank you for being a champion of early childhood education. I think studies reflect that it's very important that we get our kids into an educational setting as early as possible. Even the new Common Core standards apply to kindergarten. So if a child enters into first grade without attending kindergarten, they're that far behind. I know in my own situation at home, we held our eldest back. It was a good decision. Still went to kindergarten just a year late because it was more appropriate for her. So we have those tools available even through your bill, so thank you. With that...
Chair.
You do have a question? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I would like to make a comment on this issue here because I'm a mother of 4 kids. I raised them very proudly. They all went to kindergarten. And for me, it was not a very difficult decision because the kindergarten was available and all kids went to it, and they succeeded very successfully in respective classes going forward. But the reason why I'm struggling with this one, because currently parents, if they don't enroll their children in kindergarten, they do so probably in other ways, either sending them to private schools or either they keep them at home and they provide other means to provide the necessary skills needed to start their elementary school. And currently it's a compulsory law to start their schools at age 6, and that is equivalent to starting at first grade. That doesn't mean, just because the parents didn't send their kids to kindergarten, doesn't mean they're not ready. I just don't think that we should make it compulsory and make it mandatory to have all parents send their kids to kindergarten, and if they don't at age of 5 and when they turn 6, you're making them start at kindergarten when the child may be ready, even for first grade, even for second grade. Because again, one of my kids also, I sent them to Montessori schools, and at age 3, 4, 5, studying at Montessori schools, they probably learned a lot more than what they were able to get if they started earlier in kindergarten, in my view, because I have 4 kids, like I said, and I have been able to send my kids all through the public schools, except for the last one because of the situation in my family where I had to move from one place to another and I couldn't find a school in time, so I had to send my youngest one to a the private school. But for me, I have a problem making it, mandatory, where depending on what age, if they turn 6 and they didn't go to kindergarten, and they have to start again at kindergarten age at age 6. So I have a problem with this one.
Okay, good. You want me to close if that's the only comment?
Yeah, maybe if you could address some of
I can
her
address
comments.
that as well.
But I think you...
One of the challenges we face, and it is a continuing challenge in terms of we mandate education in California. We mandate it at grade 6, whether we do it at 5 or 6, we mandate it at grade 6. If a parent chooses not to send his or her child to school, they still have that right, but they have to provide an educational option for that child. This would make kindergarten one of those areas in which they could do that. If you choose not to go to kindergarten, you can either wait and start at age 6 to go to kindergarten, or you can do, as many parents do, have their children in private instruction or home instruction and do kindergarten. The thing that's important is changing is that, once upon a time when I went to kindergarten, kindergarten was playtime. Kindergarten was half-time, and if we noticed recently, the governor did sign our bill to talk about full-day kindergarten and to do the study for full-day kindergarten in the state, because it's no longer a situation where we have children going to kindergarten just to socialize, just to learn how to sit in a line, sit on a seat and walk in a line, which I went to kindergarten. It now has a curriculum. And parents need to be aware of that this is a mandatory curriculum that their children need to go prior to going to first grade. And California needs to step up to the plate and recognize that. Now, if parents choose to continue to homeschool, They can, but then they'd fall under the rules of homeschooling, which provides a curriculum. You cannot, in the state of California, decide that your child will not go to school at all. You know, if you choose not to take the public school option, you then have to be enrolled in homeschool of some type where the school board has some oversight over the curriculum that you offer, and you have to show some progress for your children in a homeschool environment. This says kindergarten is important. There is a curriculum that is even in Common Core, as you've pointed out, in kindergarten. We give much lip service in the state to the value of early education beginning at really zero. My grandkids have been in some form of instruction since zero. They both were enrolled at a Montessori school since the day they were born. And I see the value of preschool because they are sometimes light years ahead in language and development than their peers. And so I recognize that there's a tremendous value at 0 to 3 and 4, and surely kindergarten has a very specific curriculum now, none like it did before, where we need to have our children go. I went to one of my schools. I was invited to come recently because my school was concerned that many of the parents continue to believe that because kindergarten is not mandatory, that if in the middle of kindergarten they can take a week off and go visit grandma, they can go somewhere else. And so we have high issues of attendance in terms of absenteeism in kindergarten because people don't think it's a real grade. And we in the state have made it almost appear not to be a real grade because we say it's not required. So we're taking this step because we continue to talk about our competition in the world and how everybody has more instruction than we have, more days, more years, more hours of a day, all those kinds of things. And we have said that kindergarten is fundamental. It's an important part of our curriculum. Maybe we should call it 1 through 13 now, and that might help people get out of the K period. But nonetheless, it is important, and I think making it mandatory does not take away the choice of parents who choose not to go to kindergarten at 5, they can go at 6, or if they choose to do homeschool option, they can still do that. If they still do a private school option up to whatever grade, as long as they produce a transcript that their children have been to school, that still is valid. But it just says that kindergarten, grade K, is mandatory, and there has to be some instruction and some curriculum for children at that age.